0800 1025. Terry's next on the line tonight. Hi, Terry.
Hi, guys.
Hi there.
I'd like to make a couple of observations, a couple of points about the Rangers situation with sheriff officers. First of all, I'd like to pay tribute once again to Phil McGillivan, a guy who doesn't even live in this country, yet time and again comes up with scoops that most Scottish journalists would clearly stay clear of.
Terry, tell the listeners.
Yesterday, so I never caught the show last night. But
Terry, tell the listeners who Phil is. A lot of them don't know.
Phil's a journalist who's based in Donegal, and he's got a blog, and he stands a lot of stories up. His story came first surfaced, I think it was earlier this week, towards the end of last week, and you yourself, Jim, said that you didn't want to discuss it because it hadn't been independently verified, as you said at the time.
That's correct, yeah.
As I say, I listened to the show, last night's show, I listened to it today on my iPod, and what struck me was actually it took until 10 minutes from the end of the show for this issue actually get raised, and Sean the caller made a very relevant point in that the main talking point of the whole day, if you're a football fan in the west of Scotland and you listen to Radio Clyde phone-in show, was the fact that sheriff officers had been through the door at Rangers. I mean, that was the main talking point. But Radio Clyde, for some reason, I don't know what it is, avoided that. And you came back at Sean and said, well, really, you relied on the fact that people had to call in to bring up subjects, which to me is puzzling, to say the very least.
Well, what puzzles you, Terry?
Well, surely when a phone-in show that's got relevant points, you're looking for people to phone in. The thing that was most in people's minds that night was the Rangers situation. Yet, you've never mentioned it.
Terry, you're getting a platform here, so let's cut to the chase. You've praised the man who broke the story. You've got the floor. We've discussed Rangers for the last 40 minutes on the programme now. Let's cut to the chase. What's on your mind, Terry?
Well, you're on my mind as well, Hugh. Last week I raised the point in a David Goodwillie situation that I said that perhaps a factor in Dundee United's reluctance to deal with Rangers was the financial situation. And you said I was getting carried away. Yet here we are a week later, and there's leading tax experts saying that yesterday's situation is highly significant, a step away from a widening up order. Was I getting carried away, or was I maybe a wee bit ahead of my time?
You're one of the Celtic supporters, Terry, who's fervently hoping that Rangers close down. Now, my question to you will be, how do you think that will impact on Celtic if there's no Rangers here?
I've not thought that far ahead, Hugh. I don't think that will happen. I think Rangers could maybe go into administration, but they'll come back. But I don't think there'll be a situation where there's no Rangers. So that's your point. Rubbish, I think.
On your other point, Terry, do you think I censored that story last night?
I don't know what you've done, Jim, but I just thought it was significant by your reluctance to even talk about it. I think there's a climate of fear in Scotland when it comes to Rangers and criticising Rangers.
And there's no fear of Celtic?
Let's manage,
Terry, there's no fear of Celtic, no?
No, there's no fear of Celtic.
None at all, no.
I mean, even like tonight, I heard Mark Reedy saying that Rangers will pay it, no problem. Hugh bring up the point that maybe they have to sell a player. So what is it? Either they need to sell a player, then they will pay it, no problem. I think the fact that sheriff officers are going through your door, I mean, that's a last resort. They're not there to negotiate. They're there to tell you how it's going down. They're there to tell you, if you don't do this, this is what's happening. It's beyond negotiation. The bill's there. Okay, they might be able to discuss what the actual penalty situation is, but the bill's there. Why it's not paid? If I was a Rangers fan, I'd be concerned. I'd be thinking to myself, we won't be buying anybody.
Terry, the reason why people tiptoe through these stories, whether you accept it or not, is that they are a legal minefield, and that you cannot go in and simply say what you like, because there are laws relating to libel and to slander, and that newspapers, television and radio must be very careful. We once had to ban you from this programme because you come on and made allegations about a referee that were in danger of causing legal problems for this radio station. So we have an obligation to our employers. You have no obligation, because you will get off scot-free. You can say what you like and then go away. But we have a legal obligation, and every newspaper, radio station and television outlet must be acutely aware of that.
Terry, thanks for your call. 0845